Hey, everybody, it's Eric Green from Tax Rep Network. This week's podcast, how do you get rid of the client finally? Meaning, how do we withdraw or revoke our power of attorney? You know, this is something we deal with frequently if you do a lot of this. Client's done, the case is done, they've left, you've gotten paid, or maybe you've returned a little bit of the retainer, whatever it is, the file is closed, it's going to go off to storage. But this power of attorney is still hanging out there. And what happens is over time, you start getting mail on these clients, you know, the annual summary of what they've paid, or, gee, we've altered your refund $13. And one is, it's annoying to get the paperwork, right, the mail. Two, it's really a waste of money for the government, right? It's a waste of our tax dollars to be sending me copies of stuff. But the other thing I want to warn you about, and I have a very good friend of mine who got sued over this and ultimately won, but, you know, $10,000 in legal fees later. Congratulations. And what happened is the client defaulted. The person, the IRS sent, final notice of intent to levy. You could have requested a hearing. My friend attempted to contact the client, called twice, did not get the client did not return the phone calls. So did nothing about it. Client never showed up, client never retained them, client didn't, like I said, return the calls. Ultimately, the IRS levies the client sued my friend saying, you knew that they were going to do this and you should have done something. Now, again, ultimately, my friend was cleared, okay, but it cost him $10,000. And that's how I learned to do this. My friend Mensch told me this story and said, from now on, every year I send in my FOIA request. He said, after each case, I just revoke. But every year I send in my FOIA request and I go through my listing and I'm revoking. You know why? I don't want to get the notices. You know, the counter argument is maybe you want the notices, but that gives you an opportunity to call the client, get them back in, get more money. But if you're going to do that, you need to make sure you stay on top of it because in many ways, arguably, you're taking ownership. Again, my friend was cleared, but that's really not something I want to do. And having done this now for 18 years, I haven't seen people in probably 17 years, some of them. I don't know that I want to be babysitting their case. They're adults. If they get a notice, let them call me. All right. So anyway, that's what we're going to talk about in this week's podcast. How do you deal with these old POAs that are hanging out there? Okay. And how do you revoke and get rid of them? Okay. So again, Eric Green from Tax Rep Network. I'm glad you're all joining me. The podcast seems to be growing and growing, which makes me very happy. You can read all about me online. You know, if you're watching this in YouTube, the slide is up. I'm a partner with the law firm of Green and Sklarz. We're a boutique tax firm with offices in Connecticut and New York, where we focus, well, we do everything tax related, you know, buying and selling businesses and estate planning and tax planning. But what we're mostly known for is civil and criminal taxpayer representation. And I launched Tax Rep Network. It's a coaching program for accountants and lawyers to learn how to do this. I'm a columnist for Forbes and the Journal of Tax Practice and Procedure. I'm a former chair of the Connecticut Tax Bar. I'm a former chair of a committee for the American Bar Association tax section, fellow of the American College of Tax Counsel, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you all know all about that. So what is Tax Rep Network? I get these emails, so I've started adding this, just a blurb, a little 10-second commercial here. When we created the training program for CCH, the IRS Representation Certificate Program, that they ran around marketing and selling, I got bombarded with questions about would I coach people, could people consult with me, and we launched Tax Rep Network, all right, TAXREPLLC.com. And there is a hardcore group of us, and this is what we do, and we share ideas, and we consult on cases together. If you're interested in building a practice in this area, I highly recommend you go and check it out. The other thing I want to tell you about, the second book. My second book is finished. We have just finalize the editing. It will begin shipping out November 30th. Okay. There is a special offer. If you're listening to the podcast, go to it's tgpublish.com. It's the Accountant's Guide to Resolving Tax Debts. Use the discount code TRN25, Tax Rep Network 25, TRN25, no spaces. That will get you 25% off the book. Okay, whether you get the ebook or the print version, doesn't matter. The code will work. And for those of you who have looked at Tax Rep Network, you're thinking about it, I want to tell you about something. This is the year, 2018, the year that coming up, all right? We got, about 5 weeks from now. We're launching the $100,000 challenge. And what this is, a couple of my members have told me that they have, and Tax Rep is only about a year and a half old, that they have added over $100,000 of new business. And it got me thinking about, why aren't all my members telling me that? And so in doing a little bit of just, offhand, very casual surveying of certain members, many of them, do this when it comes in the door, but they really don't know, kind of how to build the practice. We're so focused on how to handle the work, right? The technical aspects, that some of my marketing, and I've done podcasts on blogging and other things, but there's really no roadmap. Okay, so Jeff and I are creating one. We are going to be launching the $100,000 challenge. The challenge, 2018 is the year that all of our members add $100,000 to their practice. Okay, and we're going to give you the roadmap to do it. All right, Jeff and I are working on it now. We're going to roll it out to the membership. All right, January 1. January 1, it will go up. It'll be in the Tax Rep members area. And this is the year we're doing this. Everyone's adding 100,000. So if you're a Tax Rep member, it's gonna hit. There'll be an email out to you to go check it out in the members area. I'm gonna do a number of talks walking you through exactly what you need to do. All right, it's what I did. It's what Jeff did. It isn't rocket science. You just have to be disciplined and consistent with your efforts, and we're going to tell you exactly what to do and how to do it. All right, this is the year that all the members add 100,000. I'm convinced we can do it. I know we can do it, and we're doing it. All right, if you're someone thinking about Tax Rep, it'd be a great time to join. All right, because we're doing it this year. Now, with all that said, okay, if you're watching this in the video, what does that roadmap look like? I've listed it for you here. It's sample blogs, and I'm giving you 52 blogging ideas. You don't even have to think about it. How to record those blogs is video posts, and put them up in YouTube. Letters, we're drafting letters that you can use to attorneys. How do you price this stuff? How do you price your resolution services? I'm going to give you a menu. Take the menu, put your name on it. There's your pricing, right? It's what we do, and we have clients pay these prices every day. Okay, and I'm working on a negotiation with Tax Help Software to get everyone a good discount on the software. It's the only software we use. Now, you don't need the software, but it will help you be more efficient. All right, so I think it's worthwhile, but in the end, do you need it? No, but we are working on a negotiated price that'll also be in there. So let's get to this week's podcast. How do we revoke power of attorney? Right? You think this would be easy, and it actually is easy, but you just need to know what to do. All right. Now, there are two different things. One is the single taxpayer. Right? What I mean by single taxpayer, we finished the case. I just want to revoke on this case. But I also want to tell you, how do you go back and revoke globally? Meaning, gee, Eric, this is fascinating. I've been practicing for 10 years. How do I go back and revoke all this old stuff? I don't even have the files anymore. I've left that firm. I haven't seen these people in years. I don't even know where the POA copy of the POA is. Don't worry. You can revoke it globally. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do that. Okay? Right? You just need to understand a little bit about the Freedom of Information Act requests. All right? You go out to the page. They give you a sample letter for the CAF unit. You send the letter to the CAF unit. with a copy of your driver's license to prove you are who you are. You sign under penalty of perjury. They will send you a disk that has it's a text file. Every individual or business that your CAF number, right, is associated with. And what you're going to do is you're going to then revoke them and send it back. All right, I'm going to walk you through, and I'm even going to show you a sample of how this works. All right, so let's just talk briefly about the single power of attorney. How do you revoke just, I keep calling it the single POA. It's not a single individual versus like married. It's just the one case, right? The case is done. The file's sitting on your desk. You want to get this thing the hell out of here. How do we revoke that, right? What you're going to do is you send a fax to the CAF unit. The same way you got your power of attorney on, you're going to do the same thing to get it off. Okay? You do a cover letter explaining that you're revoking power of attorney. If you're in the current office where these people are, where everyone on the POA is, we have everybody sign. So if it's a case, because often Jeff and I will put each other on each other's cases as backup. If something happens to me, Jeff has to be able to call the IRS and deal with it. So even though it's my case and I'm the one basically working it, Jeff is on as my backup and I'm on his. So we both sign the letter. I take the POA because it's a case that it's fresh, it's here, and I write withdrawn across the top, and I strike a line through it, and I fax that, and that will revoke the power of attorney. Okay, what does this look like? Well, here's the letter. Basically, it goes to the CAF unit, right? Dear sir or madam, our office no longer represents the taxpayer. Please withdraw our power of attorney for myself and Eric Green. This letter is from Jeff, obviously. Please contact the taxpayer directly from this point forward, right? And we do mail these in, generally certified. The power of attorney, you write withdrawn across the top, you put the line through it. That's it. Now, I'll often fax it to the CAF unit and mail it. Sometimes we do it certified. More and more, I've been noticing they're going out certified, but they don't have to. All right, fax it over to the CAF unit, and then just drop the original in the mail. That should revoke it. Right? Now, the client will get a letter saying that you have revoked your power of attorney. Sometimes clients get bent out of shape about this. Right? You just need to explain to them that, look, you're an adult, right? If you need me, we're here. Happy to help you. But I tell people, every time there's a letter to you, a change here, they're tweaking your refund, whatever, we get this. I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these, probably thousands by now. The storm of mail that comes into our office is already overwhelming. So you know what? I can't sit here and babysit it. There's no reason to. If you need me, call us. We're here. And that normally, calms people down. A lot of people think like, what did I do to offend you? This isn't personal. I just don't need to babysit your case, right? So all right, so that's easy, right? The one-off, we're done with the case, fax it in, easy peasy. What about globally? When I say globally, I'm meaning I want everything from the CAF unit. I want to go back and clean up years of this stuff, right? It's easy. Takes a little more time, but it's easy, right? You're going to use the Freedom of Information Act request to get this, right? You go to the FOIA guidelines page, and there's an actual sample letter for the CAF unit file. It's right there. So you literally copy paste that and tweak it for your own information and follow the instructions and do it. All right. And I've given you the link here if you're watching this in YouTube. Otherwise, go to irs.gov, /privacy-disclosure /freedom-of-information-act-FOIA-guidelines. All right. I'm going to actually see if we can post that link below the podcast in iTunes so people can, have the link if you need it. But basically, you go out there, and they'll walk you through all the FOIA information. But in there, buried toward the middle, is a sample letter for the CAF unit to get your CAF unit file, centralized authorization file. For those of you who don't know what CAF is, when you send in your power of attorney, it goes to the centralized authorization file, what we refer to as CAF, C-A-F. all right? And that's where it's stored. So here's what the FOIA request looks like. It's made out to the Internal Revenue Service, headquarters FOIA, stop 211 in Chamblee, Georgia. All right, there's a fax number there. You know, dear disclosure manager, this is a request under the Freedom of Information Act. I requested a copy of the CAF representative/client listing be provided to me. I do not wish to inspect the documents first, meaning just send it to me. All right, don't make it available for me to fly there to look at it. I have no interest in doing that. In order to determine my status for the applicability of fees, you should know that I am an other requester seeking information for non-commercial personal use. I am a tax professional and my CAF number is. I'm including a photocopy of my driver's license, a notarized statement, or a sworn statement as defined in the FOIA guide to establish my identity. Right? I am who I say I am, and the bottom half of the letter is cut off here. But if you go out there, you have the whole letter available, and you submit this. What will happen is in a few weeks, like I mentioned, you'll get a CD, and the CD will show up, and there'll be a text file. And like mine, the first time I did this, mine was, and I'm not kidding you, was just under 1,000 pages. Because it has every power of attorney that I have ever been associated with for 18 years, although at the time it was a few years ago, probably 15 years of practice. And not even my clients of my former partners they added me to their power. Anything my CAF number is associated with. So it was a task. It took me a weekend to go through. And the way that you do this, they give you instructions, but as I recall, the instructions are basically this. You go through this listing, so you have to print the whole thing out, which is just brutal. But you print the whole thing out. I suggest single, one-sided, not two, because the next thing you need to do is if you want to keep the power of attorney on file, you strike it out. Meaning, when you send, what you're going to do is you're going to send this package back. And when you send the package back, what you're saying is revoke all of these, all right? However, if I've struck them out, I want to keep them. It's sort of reverse, right? You think, well, you want to strike out the ones that you want to get rid of. Well, then they can't read them. So your ones you want to get rid of are the ones you're leaving alone. You're gonna put a line through or strike through the ones you want to keep. So go through anything current you want to keep, line through it. Everything else, when you send it back, they will revoke power of attorney on. And I just want to give you a heads up on this. What prompted this podcast is one of my tax rep members emailed me and said, I left another resolution firm. I'm on my own. How do I revoke all those POAs? So a couple things I want to warn you about. As I mentioned before, when you do this, these clients are all going to get letters informing them that you have revoked your power of attorney. All right. This tends to upset people. I don't know why, but it does. I think they think you're abandoning them or you're firing them. All right. They may be an active case at the other firm. The old firm is going to start getting bombarded with phone calls. You revoked power of attorney. They will have no idea what the heck is going on. All right. So a couple things. If you're in that situation, you've left a firm and now you're doing this, let the old firm know that you're revoking your POA. So when they get phone calls, they understand and they can respond appropriately, not be caught flat-footed. All right. It's bad enough to leave another firm. You want to leave on good terms. The last thing you need to do is start picking a fight with them over this. All right. But the other thing is just be aware that your clients may call you. Say, I don't understand. I got a letter from the government. You're not representing me anymore. You know, it's like you broke up with them. And you just have to let them know. Say, look, yeah, I revoked the power of attorney because every little bit of mail you ever get, I'm going to get. And I get way too much mail to sit here and babysit it. All right. I mean, what I'm thinking is you're a freaking adult. You babysit your own case. If you need me, call me. But what I tell them is, look, I'm here for you if you need me. You need me, go ahead. You get something from the government, call me. We'll get you in. We'll deal with it. This is nothing personal. I just can't sit and have the mail just piling up here weekly. Plus, it's a waste of government resources. All right. case is resolved as of now. You need us, call us, we're here. Most clients kind of buy into that because the other thing I have told clients when they don't buy into it is say, look, if you want to give us another $1,000, I'll hold it on retainer, and every time we get a letter, we'll call you, but we're going to end up charging you. It's a waste of our time. It's a waste of your money. You get the letters. If you get a letter when you need us, you call us. Meaning, you know what? Screw you. You're an adult. Act like it and monitor your own case. Monitor your own mail. Right? I'm not, just because you gave me a retainer and we got your offer done doesn't mean like there's some like permanent relationship we have. So just be aware of that, because I wasn't aware of it. When I did this, oh Lord, my old firm got bombarded and they got really angry. They were already annoyed with me anyway. So this is one of those things that pushed them over the edge where, what do you think you're doing? I got these nasty emails. I said, look, I revoked my POA. Yours is still there. They're your client. And half of these people, I don't even know who they are. You stuck me on your POAs. I don't want to get their mail. All right. And we kind of calmed it down, but it got ugly there for a little bit. So I just want to make you aware that what's going to happen is that client's going to get that letter. And sometimes most of them ignore it. But some of them get really upset. So just be aware of it, all right? And just be prepared to deal with it. So with that said, hopefully this has been helpful. If you're a tax practitioner doing this, you don't want to leave that stuff hanging out there, all right? Like my friend found out the hard way, you really don't want to be on the hook babysitting the notices that come in for the client. When the case is done, get the revocation in, close the file, and you're done with it. All right. Now, if you're just learning about this and you've got some back stuff to clean up, go out to the FOIA page. All right. Get the letter, send it in, get the file from the IRS, and go ahead and get that cleaned up. Again, we're going to put the link below in the podcast. If for some reason you can't find it or you need it, go ahead and email me. Right? egreen@gs-lawfirm.com. Don't forget about the discount on the Guide to Resolving Tax Debts, TRN25 at tgpublish.com. All right. If, however, you decided to join Tax Rep Network, you get the book for free. So for those of you who are looking at the $100,000 challenge, thinking this is the year that you're going to really build your resolution practice and you might want to jump in, don't go buying the book because you'll get it for free. All right. And if you're watching this on YouTube, go out and get the podcast in iTunes for free. All right. It's a weekly podcast. I try to put out stuff that's relatively useful and is current. And frankly, if there's stuff you have questions about, email me. That's actually where these ideas come from. Is I generally get ideas. I say, we should do a podcast on that. And there you go. So anyway, thank you all for listening, for all of you, and thank you all for supporting this. And with that, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.